House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he has directed his team of negotiators to work 24/7 with the White House until they reach a deal on raising the debt ceiling. The two sides met virtually Thursday while members of Congress went back to their districts for the Memorial Day recess. But they'll need to be ready to head back to Washington at a moment's notice. Both the president and the speakers say talks have been productive despite their disagreements.
Speaker McCarthy and I have a very different view of who should bear the burden of additional efforts to get our fiscal house in order. I don't believe the whole burden should fall on the backs of middle class and working class Americans. My House Republican friends disagree.
We have to spend less this year than we spent last year. We've never been in a place like this where you had the highest debt in history, spending the most money in history, but having the most money come in.
And CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang joins me now. So where are we, Weijia? What have you learned about where things are in these negotiations?
Well, in some ways, John, we're exactly where we were, with both sides assuring the public that they are making progress, that these meetings are productive, but the bottom line yet is that they have yet to produce a deal. However, President Biden did come out to address this directly. We hadn't heard from him since Monday, and we had been pressing for him to come out and make some sort of remarks, and he certainly did that, I think, to satisfy the markets that might be shaken, and to satisfy the American people who he spoke directly to. And he insisted once again that a default was not on the table. It was also interesting that he tried to draw a distinction that all of these negotiations were only about the budget and not about the debt ceiling, which he says is non-negotiable. We've also learned about the current proposal that the White House has put on the table, which includes rescinding up to $30 billion of unspent COVID funds. Those are funds that have already been approved but not allocated. It would extend the debt limit past the 2024 presidential election and put a 2-year cap on spending. And the White House is arguing that that freeze would be equal to $1 trillion in cuts. When you factor in inflation, when you factor in all the things that they would spend money on but have agreed not to. Of course, Republicans have a very different interpretation of spending cuts, and that really is the major sticking point, John, for where negotiators can hash out a deal. But all that said, you know, it seems like they are making progress, but of course, it's not done until it's done, and it's not yet.
Right. You know, you mentioned that the president's saying this isn't a negotiation, and he said that all along. He said he didn't want to negotiate, but he's neck deep in negotiations. He can call it whatever he wants. So some Democrats are saying basically that he's getting rolled by Republicans, that the things the White House are offering are all on the Republican to-do list. What is the White House saying they're getting out of these talks that they're not calling talks, or negotiations, I should say?
You know, I asked this very question to the White House press secretary because it certainly seems like the White House is on the defensive to protect pieces of the president's signature legislation, for example, money for climate and things that he has already pushed through. It also seems like one thing that they will get out, and perhaps the only thing, is an agreement to raise the debt ceiling, which they have said all along is a constitutional responsibility for members of Congress. So it's unclear exactly what the White House is asking for in addition to that. And sources say it's because they want to be vague here. They don't want to negotiate in public, but they reassure us that certainly they are not being rolled over. That's very different, though, from what progressives are saying, because there are still things on the table. As an example, work requirements for social safety programs like the SNAP program, previously known as food stamps. You know, Republicans want to have stricter requirements for people who receive that kind of aid, and progressives say that's just a non-starter. So somewhere along the line in these negotiations, whether it is the Progressive Caucus or the hard right that's telling Kevin McCarthy not to budge, you know, there will be people who are unhappy. Now, the extent of their unhappiness and whether they will use that to vote against anything that's on the table, that's something to consider as well, John.
And they'll be considering that perhaps from their Memorial Day weekend holidays. Weijia Jiang at the White House. Thanks very much, Weijia.